Hello guys, welcome again to our essay series and hopefully जो पिछली 3-4 वीडियोस हैं उससे आपकी बहुत ज़्यादा हेल्प हुई होगी. I've been trying to address questions on YouTube and Instagram, or I've been trying to shoot videos as regularly as I can, but you can imagine that having this job and then other responsibilities कभी-कभी थोड़ा सा gap आ जाता है. Anyways, last time we talked about brainstorming, and today we're gonna be talking about outline. Another important reminder, if you are not in my community group जो कि Instagram पे है by the name of One versus One Osama, you're missing out on a lot of stuff क्योंकि वहाँ पर daily we post things about current affairs, CSS notes, everything. It's free, so you can just after this video join my broadcast channel as well. And काफ़ी ज़्यादा आप लोग तो वहीं से आते हैं, so I'm thankful for all the support you guys give me. So जो आपकी essay की one of the most important things is your brainstorming, and then that leads to your outline, and we're gonna be talking about your outline today, how you can make an outline. So outline exists in the CSS essay because the examiner does not have time to check your paper properly. This is one of the main reasons that they will skim through your outline. They do not have the time to check your whole paper. Obviously, one examiner is going to be checking 10,000 papers, so he does not have the time. He's going to look at your outline and then he's going to decide whether it's worth continue reading or not, which is why outline is so important, probably the most important part of your essay. And we're going to be talking about how we can make a good outline. The first thing is that once you've done your brainstorming, you've listed down a lot of reasons, right? You need to connect it to your outline. तो मैंने आपको पहले बताया था कि आपने जब brainstorming कर रहे हैं आपने why लिख दिया, how लिख दिया. You just need to write down the facts or the reasons as well. If we were talking about gender equality is a myth, अगर मैंने ये लिख दिया कि gender-based violence is still prevalent across the world, and then मैं उसके साथ एक छोटा सा fact लिख दूंगा that 1 in 6 women experience gender-based violence according to studies done by the UN. So this is me just making things easier for myself क्योंकि मैंने एक ही जगह पे अपना data consolidate कर दिया, अपनी reasoning consolidate कर दी. Now the job to do is to pick up all that brainstorming data and put it into the outline. कुछ चीज़ें आप अपने जहन में रखें. एक तो आपकी 2 आउटलाइंस बनती है, एक रफ होती है और इस रफ वाली को हम नीट में कन्वर्ट करते हैं. That's the first thing. The second thing is that keywords are really really important. No one tells you this, but जो आपके टॉपिक में keywords होते हैं ना, you have to repeat them in your essays outline. I hope ये 2 चीज़ें आप लिख लेंगे. They're very important. So आप अपने रफ पेजेस पे you start making a rough outline. So just for example, जो मैंने ऐसे अटेम्प्ट किया था, टूरिज्म इन पाकिस्तान अपॉर्चुनिटीज एंड चैलेंजेस, a lot of people got it wrong. It was a very straightforward thing. कभी कभी हम बहुत ज़्यादा सोचना शुरू कर देते. We start thinking a lot, and that leads to problems as well. It was a very straightforward topic. The reason why I'm using this as an example, it's because it's already proven to be a success. It passed the CSS Essay exam. So let's use that as an example. The first thing you have to keep in your mind, there are universal headings that will come in your essay. That is the introduction and that is the conclusion. I am also showing you what I wrote in my CSS essay paper, and you can see that introduction and conclusion, they are universal headings. So you don't need to write anything other sub-heading bhi nahi dalni. You don't need to write anything underneath it. Another important thing is that आप अगर ये मेरा फॉर्मेट देखें, so there are lines on 2 sides. आपका जो जितने CSS के पेपर होते हैं उनकी राइट साइड पे लाइंस नहीं होती है. आपको जब वो पेपर देते हैं उसमें जब आप नाम शाम लिखते हैं, क्वेश्चन पेपर आने से पहले ही आप वो सारी लाइंस बना लें. एंड बी रेडी, जस्ट डोंट वेस्ट योर टाइम. Margins look good on a paper, they look neat, have good neat handwriting as well. That is what I recommend to all of you. यूज पॉइंटर्स, जो डॉलर का पॉइंटर है, एंड यूज मार्कर जो कि बहुत ज़्यादा उसकी क्वांटिटी ना हो. कुछ मार्कर्स होते हैं वो पेजेस पे लीक कर जाते हैं. सो वी डोंट वांट दैट, राइट? वी वांट अ वेरी नीट मार्कर. सो द वे आई यूज्ड टू डू दिस इज दैट ऑन द लेफ्ट साइड जो मेन हेडिंग है, आई वुड बी डूइंग इट 1 2 3, एंड देन उसके साथ फिर एक जो subheading है, I would be using capital alphabets A, B, C, and then जो उसकी subheading है, I'll be using small alphabets A, B, C. और जब भी एक subheading आती है तो you give a slight indentation, तो वो थोड़ा सा आगे जाके इसके नीचे आ जाता है, as you can see. So आप numbering numericals, you can do it whatever way you like, whatever is easier for you. But if you follow mine, it's gonna be very easy and straightforward. Numbering पे कोई hard and fast rule नहीं है. It's just for logical sequencing and everything. So format आपने यही रखना है, right? Remember that main headings पे markers use करें, and जो sub headings है उस पे use करने की जरूरत नहीं है. But everything in your outline should be self-explanatory. A lot of people make these mistakes कि वो लिख देते हैं कि opportunities for tourism in Pakistan के नीचे आ रहा होगा historical sites. What historical sites? Like what are you trying to say कि historical sites क्या है, right? So like I said, the examiner is a baby and you have to treat him like a baby. Just, don't leave anything open-ended. पूरी चीज को explain करके चलें. So आपका फॉर्मेट आपको समझ आ गया, ये सारा देख के आपका आउटलाइन आइडियली शुड बी ऑफ 2 pages, राइट? तो जो आपका जो पहला पेज होता है इट्स ऑलरेडी हाफ कवर्ड. एफपीएससी की इंस्ट्रक्शंस होती हैं उस पे, विल बी स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम हाफ अ पेज. उस पेज को भरें, अगला पूरा पेज भरें, फ्लिप दैट पेज एंड अगला पूरा पेज भरें. आइडियली योर आउटलाइन शुड बी दैट सेल्फ एक्सप्लेनेटरी. It doesn't matter कि the length is exceeding, right? None of that matters. You don't need to be concise. You have to have a detailed outline. And then from the next page, you can start your essay officially. So once now you've understood that there should be margins, it should be very neat. There should be good numbering, indentation, universal heading, introduction, conclusion. Another important reminder is to not write your thesis statement in your outline. There are 2 schools of thoughts. Some people do it. Some people do actually write their thesis statement in their outline. Fair enough if they do that. I do not recommend it. The reason is that thesis statement is again another important part of your essay. And if you get it wrong in your outline, you have a very small chance of making it. It just gives a bad impression at the start. You want your thesis statement to come at the end of the introduction, which we will cover obviously later. You want it to come at the end of your introduction so that he or she has read your paper. And then even if your thesis statement is a bit off, they can decide on the basis of your outline. This is what I recommend. Thesis statement is a different part of your essay. It does not need to be in your outline. It's not required there. If you put it, you take the risk. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. As I told you before, the essay paper is not something you want to take a risk with. We have 11 other papers we want to take risks with. I hope that clears things up. So now the main thing is using keywords and dividing your essay into different, segments. Tourism in Pakistan, opportunities and challenges. So he's asking for 2 main things. In any essay paper, remember, he's gonna ask for 2 things. Usually he's gonna ask for 2 things: the opportunities and challenges. The third thing, is secondary. The secondary thing he's not asked for, you're gonna add it yourself, which is always gonna be a solution to the issue that they're asking from you. I mean, think about it. If they are asking, if they're asking you about any issue, gender equality, tourism in Pakistan, opportunities and challenges, language is gendered, anything that they're asking you, it's an issue, and an issue has to have a solution. That solution they've never asked from you, but you're going to provide it yourself. This is where your paper actually stands out, is you're providing them with a solution and showing them that you do have enough mental capacity to, gauge their questions and then provide a solution. So primary headings, opportunities, challenges; secondary headings, solutions. Now, we need to pick the keywords from the outline topic itself. Tourism in Pakistan, opportunities and challenges. The first thing that we're going to be talking about is opportunities to promote tourism in Pakistan. Something like that. But it has to be, simple, and it has to be self-explanatory that we have opportunities to promote tourism in Pakistan. And then once we get to the subheadings, you're gonna want to have around 17 to 18 paragraphs, ideally, in a descriptive essay. Well, like I talked about before, in an argumentative, it can be less. So we're gonna be having, around 17 paragraphs. That's fair enough. You can have 8 in the primary, or even 7 in the both primary headings, and then you can have 3 or 4 in the secondary headings. So the secondary heading, yes, you do not have to write much, but you do have to write a good amount to justify the solution. And the first thing, opportunities to promote tourism in Pakistan, you can talk about religious sites, but do it in a way that is self-explanatory. Pakistan is home to many UN cultural heritage sites, and then give example of, you can say, Kartarpur or the Buddhist sites. You can give examples of, beaches are a popular travel destination around the world, and Pakistan is in possession of many beaches in Balochistan, in Sindh. Don't, leave it open-ended. Like I said, the length of the sentence doesn't matter, the explanation does. So be sure that you phrase your words correctly. Don't, just write beaches in Pakistan. Beaches, what are they? What do they do? In essence, if they're just existing, you have to relate them to the topic, which is tourism, and promoting them, In the same way, when you come towards the challenges to promote tourism in Pakistan, you see how we're using just the keywords from the topic itself. And many people do, they confuse and they give a weird kind of heading. I've saw some papers in which students wrote that Pakistan is facing many challenges. For what? Why tourism isn't popular in Pakistan? Did he ask that tourism isn't popular in Pakistan? It's very simple. Just stick to what they asked. Challenges to promote tourism in Pakistan. That's it. It's that simple. Just pick the keywords from the topic, write it down, and you can use different words, you can change your vocabulary, but make sure that you pick the keywords from the topic that they've given you. And then when we are talking about your own country, when we are trying to be positive, you do want to make it obvious that there are more positives than negatives. So I would recommend that you write, you can say 8 positives and then 6 negatives, or 8 and 5 in that ratio, but don't be overly negative. Your essay has to have an overall a positive approach. So then you end up writing that, there are challenges. The security situation in the country prevents tourism from being promoted. You can write something like that. Or deters potential tourists from visiting countries. You can write that popular tourist destinations in Balochistan are inaccessible because of this and this reasons. You can use different words, or you can say that the infrastructure development is not good. But just like I said before, use accurate data. If I give a heading that, the security situation in Pakistan deters potential tourists from coming, and then I give underneath it, I give another subheading where I say that according to a survey conducted by this and that, X amount of people showed hesitation to visit Pakistan because of security issues. It just, whatever you said, it validates it in the outline, and that increases your chances of passing. So the overall theme is just making sure you use keywords from the topic that they've given you. You use self-explanatory words, and then you also make sure that you validate your arguments with facts. That's it. If you keep it that simple, I assure you have a very good chance of passing. As long as you use real data and don't make up data. Don't expect the examiner to be stupid. I mean, some people do make up data themselves, which I would say in a worst case scenario, it is acceptable. If it has to be believable. it is acceptable, but I would recommend against doing it, because anyone who's checking your paper, he will act like a baby, but he will also be very learned as well. He will catch on very quickly if you start putting in lies in there. So once you're done with the primary headings, we move on to the secondary heading, which is exactly the solution to the problem. So Pakistan has very good potential of tourism, but Pakistan is facing X challenges. Oh, there must be a solution, right? And you can always phrase this in a better way, way forward to eliminating the challenges tourism faces in Pakistan, way forward to promote a holistic approach of tourism in Pakistan, right? How to promote tourism in Pakistan and eliminate potential challenges, anything like this. You can phrase it in a very nice and clever way. But usually in these scenarios, people do pick the words like way forward, and they provide a way forward to eliminate challenges and promote tourism in Pakistan. So somewhere along these lines, and you can give solutions that we should develop infrastructure development, that we should enhance the security or resolve the terrorism issues, and we should have initiatives or incentives to bring people over, whatever you can think of. You guys are better at this than me. You must have done your research. So there are many reasons how we can promote tourism. We can mention about the potential tourism for the mountains, people who trek these mountains, everything. There's a lot of possibilities here, but when you are writing about solutions, it's good to compare. Just in the case of solutions, so you can say that in the case of Indonesia, they did a certain amount of this, which helped them, bring in many tourists. You can give any example of any country which is at a similar stage of Pakistan, and we do this in any gender-related topic. For Pakistan, we compare it to Bangladesh a lot. So you can compare Pakistan to a similar country like Indonesia, like Turkey, and you can say that these countries, they did this, which led to an X amount of increase in tourism. And then we move towards the conclusion. So that's basically how you would be writing a very basic outline, and it has to be basic. I'm not in favor of having very complex outlines. If you would be writing an argumentative topic, you would be putting all of the structure and all of these things would stay the same, but you would be putting in the introduction first, and then after that, what you will do is that you will write on the side that you picked. So if, let's say, being consistent with what we're talking about this whole series, gender equality is a myth, ? So you say that gender equality is a myth as substantiated by these facts. Yeah, there is no doubt that gender equality is a myth, and you can just write down 10 paragraphs. So the side that you pick has to be in the majority, like 10 to 12 paragraphs about why gender equality is a myth. And then you will give the other side of the view, exploring the counter narrative that gender equality is not a myth. Remember these words. Whenever you are writing an argumentative essay, this heading should be exploring the counter narrative, gender equality is not a myth. You said that you are exploring the counter narrative, which is not your narrative, but you also picked the keywords from the topic and put it there, and then you actually write 1 or 2 paragraphs of the counter narrative, and you refute them in the body as well. So basically what you're doing is you're just writing in favor of gender equality is a myth, but you do explore what the your opponents have to say and then refute them in the same paragraph, and then comes towards the conclusion. So the structure largely remains the same. You also will obviously put a solution in this argumentative essay as well. The structure largely remains the same. What you will be changing is, keywords and phrases, and making sure that you put in correct facts and self-explanatory sentences. And I hope that all of this helps. You can just start practicing along these lines. It's good to use a benchmark when you're starting out. So just, the essay that I provided you, just look at that and try to write an essay along these lines. And as you progress, you can, increase it, substantiate it. You can make it more complex once you've got the hang of it. But start off with this. And then in the next video, we're going to be discussing about how we can write an introduction and thesis statement. As always, if you know someone who wants to do CSS, you can share my Instagram, this YouTube channel with them. I ask all of you to subscribe as well, as it supports me as well and gives me confidence to make these videos. And if you have any questions, I am available on my Instagram broadcast channel and these comments down below as well. So thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.